Our home group met last night, and for the last 2 weeks, we have been looking at the Old Testament prophet named Malachi. We've been reading his book and talking about the implications and what it means for us based on what it meant for the people that heard the original prophecy from the book of Malachi. And the book of Malachi is really written towards two groups of people. One, the whole nation of Israel, and two, the special tribe of Israel that was responsible for leading the others in worship. And as we were just kind of walking through this, the book of Malachi really speaks a whole lot about worship and how important it is and how much God values it. And then how much the leaders and the people had devalued it and made it not a priority and had made it corrupt and had made it an afterthought. And in the middle of that, God is very angry and he reminds his people, look, I made a covenant with you. I made a promise with you that if you would value worship, if you would treat worship with respect, if you would do it correctly, then you could live a life of, you guessed it, peace. We've been talking about peace on these daily Devos for 2 weeks now, and in the book of Malachi, there is a direct connection between how much you value worship and how much peace you experience in life. Now, peace is a gift that Jesus has given his followers, and he wants us to live in peace, walk in peace, dwell in peace, regardless of the circumstances around us, regardless of who sits in the White House or the Round House, regardless of the crisis or the sickness or just anything that can happen in life. It's going to happen, and when it does, a Jesus follower can be at peace, can be at ease, can have peace of heart and peace of mind. But the Old Testament book of Malachi is a strong, harsh reminder that your level of peace is directly tied to how much you value or prioritize worship. So what is worship? Worship is a lot of things. It is both an event you attend and do, and it is a lifestyle that you live. Worship is the way you work today. The way you work will reflect how much you value God and his word. Worship is singing songs. Worship is learning scripture. Worship is listening to a sermon. Worship is gathering with other Christians to do all those things. Worship is teaching your kids to love God. Worship is so many things. It is both the way you live your everyday life, and it is a weekly event where you gather with other worshipers and you formally worship God. And the question for you today is, if you're not experiencing peace, how much are you valuing worship? The peace you will experience in your life is directly tied to how much you value and prioritize worship. And just a hint, in the book of Malachi, the people had forgotten to prioritize and had lost their sense of awe and just did not value worship very much anymore. And God is, in a word, really angry. And not only that, God uses the word weary. He just gets weary when we don't worship him. And so I want to ask you today to do a little self-evaluation. And if you're not experiencing the peace you want, ask yourself, am I valuing, do I prioritize worship? Because the more you do, the more you will live at peace. My peace I give to you. So may you be somebody who lives and walks in peace today. Bye.